Hey guys, welcome to my update on Saturn 7. As you can see, I got a bit of a refresh on the user interface. Last little bit of highlighting as well. It's working alright. Now, one thing you notice, if this screen gets resized, I've got the images to resize, but not the text. The text has to be manually calculated. I can show you that later, but I've had to create a way to automatically work out the new text size for each screen resolution. Yep. Okay. And this is a new level I've been working on just to flesh out all the interior things better. And this is using spotlights now. Emission, glow and spotlights. It looks a lot better, doesn't it, with localized lighting rather than sort of a general smooth lighting from point lights. I don't like to use point lights now that I can use flashlights. Spotlights a lot better. You can look out the window. As the weather changes, there's another spotlight that matches the weather colour, and it shines in here, changes the colour to match the weather outdoors. Yeah, and these battery lights, I call them battery lights because they're based off the crash spaceship battery, and it's charged by solar panels. So depending on the time of day, the weather type, all sorts of things, it changes how much it charges up. And yeah, so by default I've just got it to randomly pick a number between 0 and 100 to start the game just at the moment. Got a few smash windows. Can crouch. Yeah, and as you open the doors, uses up power. And as you can see, I've got a new GUI, or graphical user interface up the stats, the top left, and I've got an ability to change the layout too. So if I press T, you can change between 3 layouts at the moment. So it just looks up an array of information and changes the position of all the stuff there. That's all. I think that's a lot better than the old one, isn't it? The old one was boring, a sort of a straight line bar, bit old school, bit old fashioned. Didn't really like it, but I've kept the bar for the temperature up the top in the middle. I've still got that. Theoretically, I could change that too, but I don't know what to do about that, whether just leave it as it is or keep it, I'm not sure. So all the screens, they're all based on the battery lighting percentage out of 100 as well, so the emissive glow, as well as the interior lighting. So I've got all the typical things, storage, yeah. And on top of that, I've also got change in ambient sound volume depending on which room you're in and depending on if the door's open or closed. So I think it's fog at the moment, so it's a bit quiet. Let's just rev it up a bit. So I can go. I've got a speed bar as well now. So I've got heaps of updates here. I've got a speed bar. So hold the space bar down. That's alright, isn't it? So now that's using a 3D mesh because you can't rotate a 2D overlay. Be nice if you could, but no, you can't. So I've had to make all that directly in front of the camera, positioned directly in front of the camera, just like the status effects overlays, as that fades in and fades out the different conditions of hot and cold. That's also a 3D mesh plane in front of the camera because you can't fade in and fade out very well 2D overlays. It just doesn't work very well at all. So that's why I've done it that way. Now there's a lot of benefits in doing it this way, but it's a bit more of a hassle because if you resize the camera, if you go into, oops, that's controls. Sorry, we'll go back to that. If you go back to the where are we? That's weird, isn't it? Can't work it out. So I got resolution. I got the ability to change the resolution as well. I mean, that was working, but it's got a few issues with getting the default resolution sometimes. Anyway, So view angle, if I was to change that to 60, so to change the view angle, you have to have a formula to recalculate the distance in front of the camera for this 3D mesh plane overlay in front of the camera. Otherwise, it gets out of whack when you change it. So you've got to have all these things you've got to update. With it, when you're using 2D overlays, they're a lot easier in some ways. Say, for example, all this is all 2D overlays. The good thing about these 2D overlays, you can blur the background screen. See how it's blurred? I'll just show you. See that? It blurs the background. It looks good, doesn't it? And then so you concentrate on here and back again. But you can't do that with a speed dial like this. Oh, where's the sound gone? It's disappeared. Alright. There's always little bugs you've got to fix up. That's alright. I'll work it out. Now I've got a whole stack of different ones like this that I thought to use. I'll show you in a minute, and you can let me know what you think is the better ones. So I'm really looking for feedback. Anything at all that you can see at the moment that you don't like or should be improved, or things you do like or you don't like, just I really appreciate it if you could just let me know what you like and what you don't like, so I can sort of fix it up a bit more, because sometimes you just don't see everything. So if I it's foggy out there, so if I speed it up with this one, past time, okay, we'll just go an hour. There we go. We've fast forwarded, done a speed jump. So yeah, and so I've got the on the top left, you can see how the colours change depending on the percentage. It's out of 100. So there's three. There's red, orange, and blue. It's just 3 colours. That should be enough, I think. So if it gets to in a certain range, it changes colour. So yeah, so that's snow out there at the moment. So you can hear the wind. So what I've got is, oh, we're out of battery. See that? Gone red. We're in trouble. Okay, alright. So if I click on it now, can't do anything because we're low on battery. And there's no lighting left either. Okay. So I've got to watch that. Yeah, I'm still working on the charge percentage. It's a bit off because when there's too much fog, it wipes out the sucks too much power. In other words, it's not right. So I've got to fix that up. Let me just speed time again. It's gone up a little bit. Meteors. Let's try it again. Alright, we've got a little bit of power, so you can hear the... I'll just top up the drinks. There we go. Have a drink. So, if I open that, the volume, see how it got louder? So because you're closer to the weather, outdoor weather with the windows, when it closes, it cuts down the sound a little bit. So that one's red because that takes more power. It's gone green, but those were green because that'll take less power. So, and if I go in this room, it'll be even quieter. So I'll just listen for that. Yeah, so hear that? The weather wind effect has gone down, as well as the ship creaking sound. Yeah, the creaking sound matches the wind amount as well. We got some storage. For some reason, the sound has gone bust. Oops, we're getting hot too. Okay. Yep, there's something wrong with the sound. I'll have to fix that up. If I get too hot, can always have a drink. Okay, so yeah, so that's, we're out of power though, so there's no lighting in here. See, it's gone green. So in other words, it's picked up a little bit of ambient colour. Possibly a bit too much actually, because it's a closed room. It probably shouldn't have that much. it's coming. There's a window in here on this room. It's supposed to just brighten that room in there only, but it may have affected the whole area actually. It looks like well, actually, we've only got a very small amount of ambient lighting affecting the indoor ship. I've got it at 15 out of 255, so a very small amount. So it shouldn't really be that green at the moment, I don't think. I've also got a clothing section. Just started on it. So if I click on that, it shows me if I've got any clothing here, which I don't have, and then you could theoretically move between the two. Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't show up. Only when you click on the clothing, it'll do it. Otherwise, not. Okay. So if I... Oh, that's interesting. That's the same sort of door, but it takes more power than... Okay, maybe okay. I think the lighting's a bit stuffed up. So there's clothing in here. Whenever you're making a complex game, there's always a lot of bugs you have to work out. Always. Well, it is for me anyway. I don't know about you guys, but for me there is. Yeah. So that got louder there. See that next to the window? You can see the sort of radiation out there. I'll take that. And then I can go into my inventory.
Can't make it.
And that you can move between the two. It's not working at the moment. Oops, he just died. Did he? Just died? He's dead. Still can look around though. That's alright. Oh, black and white. What's happening? So, anyway, there's a few bugs. Obviously, there's actually been quite a few bugs in this little session. Yeah, but we'll work them out slowly. I've fixed a ton of them already, but there's more to go. I'll go down here. So, got the underground walking sounds. All I've done is stuck different 3D mesh planes underneath the ground, invisible ones, and just done just as a line collide with bounding box of scene node, just ran over a whole list of the local ones to determine what's the sound to play at that time, at that particular time. Still got, yep, boxes, and we can move that around. Okay. So we got, see how the light's orange, a little bit orange inside, because that's coming from the outdoors. Whereas if you go over here, on this side, it's not, you don't really see it. But yeah. Okay. Alright. So, yeah. So there's a lot of changes of updates I've made. The only thing I haven't added just yet is a flashing, pulsing light on and off. I'm going to put one probably... yeah, I might put that one over there flashing, I think. Yeah. So the weather color will affect the the weather color will affect the indoor ambient color as well a little bit. Not very much. Probably should be a bit stronger actually. But yeah, it does. Okay. So we got some general stuff there. And we got some other stuff there. Alright. Yeah, and sleeping. I didn't show you that, did I? No. Okay. So you got louder there next to the windows. So in other words, the closer you get to the inside of the ship, the quieter it should be. So you want to get away from the crazy noise. then you can do that. Oops, that's the wrong room. The sleeping ones are. I haven't done those beds yet. Okay, it's just for testing. So this one you can sleep on. That comes up. You can sleep whatever, just sleep an hour. Yeah, well that worked okay. I should have been a bit darker. The sleep should have blacked out a bit more, but yeah, I've added, you know, the blur in there. Blurs everything and then unblurs it. So that's not too bad. Yeah, so we're getting there, slowly but surely, bits and pieces. Did I show you this? Oh, the gun, haven't shown you that yet. So we've got a bit of fog inside the ship. I think that looks alright, it's not too bad. It'll come and go with the weather. I think that's alright. You can't stop it anyway. It's either fully on everywhere or not at all. So, like it or not, that's how it is. Okay, select my gun. There we go, there's his gun. Nice little bit of a sway effect. Quite cool, I think. Yeah, and you can shoot it. Okay, notice how you can see the square image around in the fog. I'll have to fix that. Put a PNG transparent, but I tried that before. It didn't look so good. But anyway, I'll have to go back to that. It doesn't. It's supposed to hit the wall and make a sound, but the default copy cube behavior doesn't seem to work particularly well in that regard, so I'm going to recode it myself eventually. So as you hit it, so got almost out of power, can put it away, and you can also drop. Here's a nice little extra feature as well. So that battery's only got 20%. If I unload that, just click on unload, 20%, and then drop it. Notice how the height of the blue is matching the actual percentage of the battery. That's pretty nice, I thought. Yeah. Bit nice glow effect too, actually. Whereas this one, that's 55%. So it's different height, see? 55. Ha. I've done that with water as well. That's 65%. So if I drop that, that's just over halfway. So that's the same thing. The level will match the actual level in the container. So it's cool, isn't it? I've not seen a game do that before. But anyway, maybe they have. I just haven't seen it. But yeah. Loot. Oops, we've lost the water. There it is. Yeah. So. Oops. That's not supposed to happen. That's another bug, I suppose. So you're supposed to pick them up first. Loot. That's not supposed to happen. Anyway, all these things have to be fixed. The more complicated your game gets, the more bugs there are. It's that simple. It's quite complex. Everything in my game is actually quite complex, actually. Now that's loot. Should be picking that up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's that. Yeah, we can crouch down. Oops, floating. We've got a floating crate there. How about that? So yeah, I think that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? The ammo. You can pick it up, turn it around, drop it. The sound changes according to the height. Pick it up. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of little bugs, as you've already seen, obviously, but you work your way through it eventually. Yeah, I mean, making a full-on game like this is got a lot of complications. Everything in my game is complicated, unfortunately. I just is, because I want to have a lot of cool effects, so you have to. From the inventory system, to the weather system, to the door opening and closing, to the you name it. Now with this, I'm using a lot of all spotlights for everything. I'm not using any point lights much, only one I think in the whole game. Now I'm really happy I changed from, I'm not using normal maps anymore at all, so I baked all the normal map texture detail into the main texture, so it's a single texture for everything. So it loads quicker, much more performant in the game engine itself, looks just as good, and actually looks better because you get much more rounded surfaces, like it's supposed to. So there's no blocky looking polygons, faceted normals or faceted, whatever you want to call it. So so it is a lot better. I'm glad I did that because now I've got 10 lights to work with. I can use 10 point lights or 10 spotlights or a combo of the two. And so now I've got spotlights everywhere now, so I've got way more than 10. I've got about, I don't know, 25 or more. So what I've had to do is split up the whole level into sections in different rooms, and what I do is I hide and unhide as you go along, so it works out what room you're in based on little surfaces underneath the floor, just around the doorways typically, and it tells it which room that you're in now, and if I go through the door, it actually tells what volume to change as well on opening and closing of that particular door. Yeah, so yeah, oof, and so what I've done is, now this room is directly below the room above it, so what I used to do was just go through a for loop and just turn everything off except for the room that you're currently in once it's confirmed that all the doors are closed, because you don't want to have the room that you're in turned off, or the one that you just came from turned off before the door closed. But this, what I've done now, is actually better, I think, is that what it's doing is it always keeps the room you're in obviously visible, but the last one that you're in as well, it also keeps that visible. So you've always got two rooms active. And the reason why I did that, because the spotlights from the room above would highlight that room out there, but it would also highlight this floor under here. It's just the way the lighting spotlights work, and point lights and everything else. So instead of having like some weird flashing of lights turning on and off every time you enter a room, to stop that, I just keep the previous one active and the current one active at all times, and it just, every time I open a new door and activate the next room, it turns off the previous one. So yeah, you will get a bit of change in lighting. You just then, you will get a bit of change in lighting, but it's not much. Mostly it's pretty good. So you'll see a bit of change in lighting. Little, hardly noticeable. So anyway, it fixes a lot of problems doing it that way. So in other words, it's only this room and that just last room that I was in is visible. Everything else is invisible. And so in other words, I'm using about 8 spotlights in total for the rooms. I'm using one for the player when he finally gets a usable torchlight or spotlight effect to work properly, which I haven't yet got working, that I'm happy with. Hopefully Nico can get that working this year. That'd be really great if he could. So I can have a proper spotlight for the player, attach it to the player and have the direction change. At the moment the direction doesn't change, it's fixed, and that's it. So yeah, and then I have the 10th light is a point light.
This place is killing me.
There we go. All good. We're a bit hot, are we? Jeez, it gets hot all the time, this guy. Yeah, obviously it needs tuning, all this hot and cold temperatures, it needs tuning, something horrid, but I'll fix all that up later. Yeah, so there's some of the main benefits I've done. Oh, yeah, we've got a few bugs here, like things disappearing on me sometimes for unknown reasons. I'll work that out. I always work it out eventually. It might take me a while. Yeah, so we've got a few wee bugs coming and going, that's for sure. Yeah, so that's the main overview. So we've got fog indoors, that's cool. We've got the gun, got this, all sorts of things working. Out of battery. Okay, we took the battery out of it, that makes sense. It's got no battery in it. So if we, that's 20%. Let's put that one in there. There we go, we're back in business. Okay, so that's the game engine detecting that it hit something. But it usually doesn't work very well, so I'm going to have to recode it myself. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that works okay. There's plenty more work to do, of course, but we're getting there. Yeah, so any suggestions would be... Oops, that's my stomach, by the way. That's not gas. That's that's food poisoning. Okay, we've got a bit of a bug there. Excuse me. Dear oh dear. Where's the food poisoning? Let's load that up.
This place is killing me.
There we go. Does that stop it? That was funny. It's not supposed to do that. I didn't try and do that. But anyway, it's another bug actually. Yeah, so a funny one though. Oops, that's just disappeared. That's weird. Anyway, yeah, tons of bugs you get when you make these complex games. I tell you what. Anyway, I'll work through all those and try and fix them all. So I hope you like
This is killing me.
the recent updates, some of the new improvements, and some of the new bugs, obviously. So let us know what you think, what you think, if it needs something else or something's not right, or... I'll show you the other 2D overlays now, just quickly, and you can tell me which one you think is the best. Okay, here's another one that I originally bought this... okay, so this is a fixed 2D overlay that's not rotating, obviously. So what it's just doing is just changing the size of the image behind it and the color as you go around it. Yeah, so that's one way to do it. There's no sound at the moment, but I can do that later. Yeah, so there's that. Turn it on. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's supposed to be perfectly round. It's just the resolution of my monitor. Yeah, I bought that off Game Guru many years ago. But when you do turn it, if you stick it on a 3D mesh and rotate it, it's not perfectly circular anyway. So, okay, here's another one. This is the same speed dial, but now it's on a 3D mesh in front of the camera. It's not bad, is it? It looks quite good, really. I think. Apart from the fact that it's not circular, that's a problem. It looks, you can't. That's pretty dodgy. But other than that, I think the colours and everything is pretty good. What do you reckon? Yeah. So this is another one I got. So that's rotating as well. 3D mesh in front of the camera. Just different design, really. This one's perfectly round, so that's where I based my current one off. And this one I was going to use. It's the same one. I've just edited the graphic. It's not bad, is it? It's not too bad. Quite okay. Which one do you prefer of all the ones you've seen, including the one in the game? Okay, same again. That's just a different color of the other one. It's rotating 3D plane in front of the camera. Just a different bluey color. Okay, this is a different design altogether. This is 2D plane mesh, so you can do it that way. It's not too bad, is it? I guess it's okay. The light blue color I don't really like that much, but I suppose the design is okay. It works. Put it that way, it works. And it's a 2D overlay. It's not a 3D mesh, so you can use this one and you can blur the background if I wanted to, whereas with the 3D mesh in front of the camera you can't blur the background because otherwise the actual speed wheel gets blurred as well, and you don't want that. So I guess this one's not too bad, is it? What do you think? Yeah, so which ones of those do you think would be best for my game? Interested to hear your thoughts, or do you think the one I've got at the moment is probably the best? Stick with that. So yeah, anyway, I hope you liked that, guys. Give us some feedback on anything and everything. I'd appreciate it. Stuff you don't like, let me know. I'd be happy to hear it. Or suggestions to improve it, let me know. Apart from the bugs, I'm going to have to fix all them up. Don't worry about that. But how, in general, the way it's going, things you'd like to see that could be better, or things you actually do like as it is, or whatever the case may be. Let me know. That'd be appreciated. Thanks, guys. Cheers.